Welcome to another episode of Ricket. Ding, 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 ding. Rub, ah, ding, 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 ding. Rub, ah, ding, 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 ding. Rub a dub. Alright. Enough music for one time. I was getting dizzy. Welcome, and I'll be your host on this Tuesday, November 8th. My name's Rob. Congratulations, you successfully reached one of the best commentary slash, I would call it a show. Sometimes I do, but it's really just my point of view. Alright, here goes nothing. Story number one. Smoking Joe Frazier. I was debating whether to make this story number one, but really, he was a legend. He was an icon. He was pretty much bigger than the sport. And boxing, you don't have that nowadays. You really don't. It's kind of sad because all they have is Pacquiao, Mayweather, and that fight has been taking forever to come around. And really, I don't really think it's ever will come around because there's been so much bickering back and forth of over who's going who. And I really think they just hate each other. And just to get back at each other, I think they will never fight. But money really talks. So for the right price, maybe they'll get to it. But my dear respects to, well, first of all, Mayweather's actually taking care of all the funeral costs for the Frazier family. But my dear respects do go out to the Frazier family from myself. I was a huge boxing fan, and he was the first person to knock out the best, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. So much respect to him. And from a good guy to a bad guy, at least according to the Michael Jackson fans, he's a bad guy. We have Conrad Murray. Story number two is all about how he was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Wow, so many times I screwed that up, but got it right. Most importantly, he will appeal this, and he's just basically fighting for his fact of trying to get his medical license back. But who's going to really want to have a doctor by Conrad Murray? Oh, what's your doctor's name? Well, my doctor's name is Conrad Murray. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with my doctor. Like, seriously, I don't understand why he's even fighting for it. Like, get into another profession, leave the country. Well, I wonder if the license is transferable like that. Something I don't know. But ultimately, I really kind of find it silly that this whole process was such a huge deal. Like, ultimately, I kind of think that Conrad Murray was gonna have a bad reputation no matter what. People are gonna think he was guilty even if he was found not guilty, and it's really hard to reverse these type of legal proceedings. But ultimately, in California, due to the overflow, he's not going to be spending the up to 4 years. He'll probably spend maybe a year at max, if that. But ultimately, it's enough talk about Mr. Conrad Murray or Doctor Conrad Murray. I don't even want to call him a doctor anymore. Story number three is Occupy Toronto. It's getting pretty bad out there. There was I hate not being able to confirm this, but there was a possible drug overdose not only at Toronto, Occupy Toronto, but also at Occupy Vancouver. And Vancouver is known for their having incredible, potent drugs, especially of the THC kind, or well, just drugs in general. But these protests are getting pretty bad from what's been going on in Occupy San Diego, where an actual hot dog vendor was vandalized, and then you have Occupy, I think, Washington, and an elderly woman was pushed downstairs. There's been a lot of hooligan shenanigans. That's the best way to put it. For someone that actually does support the whole movement. And don't get it twisted, I do feel like people should be brought to justice for the crimes against humanity, society, basically messing up with our financial situation, putting us into a huge depression. Well, since 2008, 3 years, going on 4. And I got to admit, it's someone's got to get charged. Someone's got to get brought to justice. Someone needs to be held accountable for all this lies and incompetent. Well, playing with our money, playing with basically people's jobs. People are a lot more homeless than it may appear. It used to be America was the land of opportunity, but there's not a lot of opportunity anymore. And that's funny because I always just thought of it as that. It's a little bit sad, but I'm Canadian, so King. Back to Occupy Toronto. There is possibility, just like in Occupy London. Yes, rural London got an Occupy movement. There will be possible policing coming in, just like in London, taking away the tents and causing havoc onto the whole tent city, which reminds me of the Gardener. That's just a little tidbit of information for anyone that was born in the late 1990s or conscious. Underneath the Gardener, there was like a tent city, and every time I go past St. James Park, I swear to God, it just reminds me of that because it's free rent. Can't knock them. They're beating the system. And the last story, and I've kept this to last just because I never liked the guy, but I always kind of thought it was funny. Andres Berlusconi. I hope I'm pronouncing his first name. I can't remember it, but Berlusconi. I just remember Berlusconi, the premier of Italy, is basically resigning. Not immediately. Don't get it twisted, but soon. Maybe within the next few months. But people are basically happy. He didn't get the vote. There was a very important vote that happened recently, and he wasn't favorable for him. So if there was like a confidence vote that was going to happen, it doesn't look like he was going to go his way. So he jumped ship, and believe me, he didn't leave us in good standings because it's possible bailout required for Italy, just like there was for Portugal and Ireland and Greece, right? Greece, yeah. Man, the list just keeps on growing. But ultimately, I think Italy is just too big to bail out. But that's all the news for today. Great news. Happy, happy news. I've gotten into politics because of this little commentary I do. And it's interesting. And I definitely got to admit that Herman Cain, or whatever the guy's name is, he's getting grilled. I could have made a story on him, but maybe it's to another day. But he's getting grilled. The guy's lying through his teeth. But that's it. Bye. I'll talk to you more about Herman Cain and his compulsive lies another day.